The Trump administration's war on immigrants has been waged so far on two fronts. There's been, of course, the cruel treatment of undocumented immigrants, people showing up at the border asking for asylum, including the separation of children from their parents at the southern border. As of the latest report, 572 kids taken from their parents are still separated from their moms and dads. But what's gotten less attention is the administration's systematic assault on the rights of documented and authorized immigrants. Today, NBC News revealed that in the coming weeks, the administration is expected to issue a proposal that would make it harder for legal immigrants to become citizens or get green cards if they have ever used a range of popular public welfare programs, including subsidies on Obamacare exchanges. It is not an accident this proposal is being floated in an election year. President Trump and his hardline immigration czar, Stephen Miller, appear to believe their war on immigrants, even legal ones, will energize their base ahead of the midterms. Joining me now to discuss whether that's a good bet, New York Times columnist Michelle Goldberg and former Obama speechwriter Jon Favreau, co-founder of Crooked Media and host of the new podcast, The Wilderness, which I have to recommend as a podcast connoisseur myself, is excellent. You should check out The Wilderness. It's really good work. So I think, John, I think Miller and Kobach and the president, all these people think like this is our special power. Like if we the MS-13 is coming for you and your loved ones, and the Democrats are going to be like letting them run wild. And I just think what do you think about that strategy?
I mean, they tried that in Virginia with Gillespie's race, and it didn't work. It was all MS-13 ads all the time. Ralph Northam won there. Look, I think this is their best strategy right now, but it's not necessarily a winning strategy as we've seen, at least. Like, it's going to rile up the base, obviously, but I don't really think it's going to get them across the finish line in a lot of the districts and states that they need.
Yeah, and the New York Times reporting on this was interesting. Alex Burns on Ohio 12, which is basically Balderson starts by being like, I'm a good Christian and I'm a family man and I like got the budget in control in Ohio, and everyone's like, boring, we don't care. And then it's like, this is what he's closing with. Check out this ad.
The liberal resistance is demanding open borders. They want to eliminate the law enforcement agency that enforces our immigration laws, opening America's doors to more crime and drugs. And they want Danny O'Connor's help.
Michelle, like that's what they've ended up on.
Right. Well, I think that, there's been this debate going on ever since the catastrophe of Trump's election about what motivated it, right? What motivated these people to choose this manifestly unfit man? Was it kind of, quote unquote, economic anxiety, or was it, racial grievance? And I think Trump, we know now what the Trump campaign thinks about their own voters.
Yes.
Right, like what they think works with their own voters. And then the other part of it is just they don't really have, the economy is doing well overall, but they don't have much of a record to run on with their own voters, because when you look at, kind of people don't pay attention to GDP, they pay attention to their own personal well-being, right? And for most people, wages are not keeping up with inflation, right? Most people are not better off. And so to basically be like, we delivered, I feel like people will be like, wait, that's it? That's what we're getting?
Yeah, John, it is fascinating to me that there is so little attempt to run on the record, right? Like the tax cut bill they thought was going to be a big deal. It's even like, look, Rockefeller, like the ISIS caliphate basically was smashed. Like you can imagine a universe in which you run around taking victory laps. They don't even want to talk about that because it seems like the persecution is so central to what motivates their voters.
Well, partly it's because even if Republicans did want to run on the tax cut, which some of them do, which I still don't think is popular, it's not a good idea, Donald Trump's not going to let them run on anything but whatever Donald Trump tweets that day.
Right.
So, Donald Trump and the Republican Party's closing message in the Ohio 12th was Donald Trump attacking LeBron James. right? So it's like, they don't really have the message down.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, Ohio, what a terrible place. I'm your president, vote Balderson. There's also, I think, there's the backlash effect too. Like the degree, there's, I think, this idea that you see the Republicans do with Nancy Pelosi, like we're going to associate everything with Nancy Pelosi because we know you don't like him. But the president's a remarkably polarizing figure. And when he touches stuff, like he has this impact. Like you see it on immigration. The immigration polling is fascinating.
Right.
In 2010, it was split between whether people thought they strengthened or burdened the country. By 2017, it's plus 40 in favor of immigrants strengthening the country.
Right. Trust in the media is up. Trust in everything that Trump opposes is up. And I feel like Trump's incredible unpopularity is often undercounted because of just the shocking fact that he's still in office, right? He won in spite of all of these factors. He's not being held accountable, and so it makes it seem as if he's Teflon. And I think we lose sight of the fact that the majority of the country really dislikes him. Probably a plurality of people passionately hate him. And but we focus a lot on kind of the feelings of all of these Trump voters in the Rust Belt. The feelings of college-educated people who cannot believe what's going on, people of color who revile this man, I think that those feelings are going to be just as important when it comes to midterms.
And this, John, you just did this great series about the podcast series, The Wilderness. It's sort of about how Democrats are dealing with this political moment. And I wonder what you think about how the kind of culture war tropes that we're seeing, what they do on the left side. Like, what do they do to the sort of motivating the other side?
Well, I will say, looking at those numbers you just put up, Democrats should not be afraid to talk about immigration. Yeah. And I think a lot of them are, right? I do believe that our most powerful message is an economic populism, especially in a lot of these counties that swung from Obama to Trump. But we should never run away from issues like immigration, because Republicans are going to make the argument no matter what on immigration. As we've seen, they're going to run on that. We need to have an answer for that. And we live in a country where most people think that immigrants strengthen the country. Most people think they deserve a path to citizenship. Most people believe that the Dreamers deserve a path to citizenship. We shouldn't run away from the issue or be afraid of it. And I think Democrats have done that in the past. Yeah,
we're going to see. It'll be really interesting. The Corey Stewart, Virginia, the Ed Northam and Ed Gillespie race, Ralph Northam and Ed Gillespie race in Virginia was instructive in that respect. We'll see what happens tonight in Ohio 12. We're going to keep watching those results. You can see Chris Kobach there, who is early returns coming in from Kansas. Michelle Goldberg and John Favreau, thank you both for being with me. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.